There are a lot of themes revolving around Kingdom Hearts, and one of the great things about the Kingdom Hearts story is that these themes usually end up having nuanced layers that we can explore through multiple characters and worlds, from light to darkness to friendship. So I want to explore one of these themes that has existed throughout the entirety of Kingdom Hearts so far as a bit of a retrospective, just to see how much this has been illustrated over time and through our favorite characters' interactions. Welcome back, y'all. This is your girl Empowered Muse, and today we're going to talk about just how love has prevailed throughout the Kingdom Hearts series. So this is more so a deep dive retrospective on the theme of love in Kingdom Hearts, and of course we have the obvious theme of love conquering all, even in darkness, but I also wanted to look a bit more at the concept of love through a more nuanced lens, particularly through characters' interactions with each other. And so I probably won't go through every single character or world through the Kingdom Hearts series, but I will definitely touch on some of the more pivotal and recurring themes throughout the Kingdom Hearts series, from Kingdom Hearts 1 all the way through Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind, and even Melody of Memory and Kingdom Hearts Union Cross. Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memory through Kingdom Hearts 2 is where we see the most pivotal example of how love is exhibited through acceptance. And we see a bit of this with the interactions between Sora and Naminé, with Sora understanding that while Naminé was the one physically behind messing with his memories, he still accepted her as a friend and fought to save her from Organization 13's control. But this theme of love as acceptance is a lot more pivotal in their interactions between Riku and King Mickey. For Mickey, this is pretty much the first known Keyblade wielder that he's had to sort of guide, and for Riku to be the first and also struggling with his darkness might have been more of a challenge for Mickey than we realize. This is especially true if you consider that Mickey was a student of Yen Sid, who didn't seem to care much for darkness, at least from what we can see from our limited interactions with him. Mickey even said himself that he once believed that darkness was something that could never be accepted. However, after meeting and getting to know Riku more, we see Mickey go through a change of heart and become more accepting of darkness, thus allowing his care, love, and compassion for Riku to help in him accepting Riku as he is. Someone who at the time was working through conquering his own darkness and using his dark abilities as a tool as a guardian of light. And this act of acceptance as a form of love continues primarily through Riku's journey in Kingdom Hearts 2. While Riku made the decision to hide away after turning to darkness and taking on Ansem, Seeker of Darkness's form, the constant acceptance and compassion from King Mickey, as well as Sora and Kairi's acceptance of him no matter what, enabled him to essentially forgive and accept himself after returning to his original form. I think that both Chain of Memories and Kingdom Hearts 2 really highlighted how love can show up as accepting someone for who they are despite their flaws and or struggles they may be facing at the time, as we see through Riku's growth in his relationships with Mickey as well as Sora and Kairi. But on the other side of acceptance is a form of love that tends to intertwine with fear and anxiety and results in a sense of overprotection. This isn't to say that there isn't love there at all, but once love can definitely be clouded by these more fearful and anxious thoughts and result in actions that may actually do more harm than good. We mainly see this in Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep with Master Ericus and the Wayfinder trio, as Ericus has raised and protected Aqua, Terra, and Ventus for so long that he doesn't want any sign of darkness around them or corrupting them. However, despite seeing what was clearly Ericus's love for his students, it's safe to say that Ericus's experience and fallout with Xehanort contributed to this growing fear and anxiety that he might once again potentially lose someone he cares about to darkness. And not necessarily in the form of death, but more so in the form of how he and Xehanort no longer had as close a bond that they once had due to Xehanort going down the path of darkness. So from early on in Birth by Sleep, we see Ericus go into this overprotective mode in order to shield Aqua, Terra, and Ventus from any influences of darkness as much as humanly possible. And we also see how the consequences of Ericus's actions resulted in a loss of trust and security with Ventus and Terra in particular. I think a form of love that might not get discussed as much is a form of love that takes place during grief, which is what we see among the Sea Salt trio primarily in 358 over 2 days and into the start of Kingdom Hearts 2. As the bonds between Roxas, Axel, and Xion grow in days, we keep seeing this desire to keep things a certain way, especially as Xion comes to terms with the fact that she'll have to return to Sora in order to fully restore him. But with Xion's decision comes Axel's desire to hold on to how things are, and Roxas's manifestation of grief and how he decides to cope with eventually losing Xion. Both characters' actions exhibit how their love for Xion and their bond becomes this form of grief. Roxas in particular took his grief and not only isolated himself from what was essentially his home and family, but also experienced his grief turning to anger towards mainly anyone who got in his way, up to the end of days and the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 2. This next form of love is one that honestly could be included in all of the Kingdom Hearts games so far, but I will say it seems to be a bit more pivotal in some of the most memorable moments in the Kingdom Hearts series. This form of love is one that shows a lot of our characters persevering through whatever pain or fear they may have at that moment in order to save someone they care about. In other words, this form of love is one of sacrifice, or at the very least having the willingness to sacrifice in order to rescue a loved one. So we see this take place as early as the first Kingdom Hearts game, where honestly each of the Destiny trio showed some form of sacrifice at some point in the game, mostly towards the end in Hollow Bastion and the end of the world. We first see it with Sora, of course, when he pierced himself in order to return Kairi's heart, and we then see it pretty much right after when Riku holds off Ansem in order to allow Kairi, Donald, and Goofy to escape, and once more when Kairi throws herself in front of Shadow Sora in order to fend off the other Shadow Heartless and returning him to light. And once more towards the very end of the game, we see Riku essentially making the choice to help Sora close the door to darkness, but in the process running the risk of being stuck in the realm of darkness. So this theme of sacrificial love was very much present from the very beginning of the Kingdom Hearts story. But this is also a theme that is actually reoccurring, like in Birth by Sleep when Aqua made the choice to save Terra's body at the expense of her disappearing into the realm of darkness, or in Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance when Riku jumped into Sora's heart in order to save him without thinking twice, despite his previous fears of darkness possibly still having a hold on him. And this is also shown time and time again in Kingdom Hearts 3, particularly when Sora makes a decision to use the power of awakening at whatever cost in order to save his friends in the Keyblade Graveyard, and once again in Remind when he goes back in time with the power of awakening to save Kairi. But not only does Sora show this in Kingdom Hearts 3, but Riku made his own sacrifice through love when he struck the demon type in the Keyblade Graveyard in order to perhaps buy a little more time for him and Sora and to give Sora hope, despite the fact that all hope seemed to be lost in that very moment. And we even see this in a few scenes of Melody of Memory, when Kairi, fresh off of the pain of losing Sora, is determined to find an answer through her memories and being put to sleep for a year, as well as Riku making the decision to venture to Quadratum, an unknown realm where there might be consequences for simply traveling there in order to find and recover Sora. Each of these characters' love for each other overpowered any fear or potential consequence that they might have faced, just so they could ensure that the ones they love will be safe in the end. For Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, I think the form of love that's the most consistently present throughout the story is love as inclusion, which can be similar to love as acceptance. But I think inclusion best fits the story of Union Cross as we see through mostly players' perspective of just how Ephemer included them in pretty much everything as much as possible. Even when there were moments that Ephemer had to be more secretive in the first part of Union Cross, he still found a way to reach out and include player. And we see this sense of inclusion through not only Ephemer and player's relationship, but also among the other Union leaders who had the task of carrying light into the future with the other Dandelions. The most pivotal example of seeing just how inclusive the Union leaders were was through their relationships with both Ventus and Elrena. While Ventus himself was a Union leader, he did end up being revealed to be a false Union leader, as well as the one who struck down Strelitzia. However, instead of casting Ven out completely, the other Union leaders appeared to care about Ven enough to not only keep including him as a Union leader, but to also take the charge of watching over him up until they all separated in the lifeboat arcs. For Arena, this was basically a case of the Union leaders having the choice to take the information they needed from Arena and then dismissing her or not including her in the escape plan with the lifeboat arcs. However, while Lauriam was the main person to verbally include Arena throughout Union Cross and up to their departures on the lifeboat arcs, the other Union leaders also cared enough for Arena to include her through their actions, with all of them reassuring her that she did in fact belong with them, despite not being formally chosen as a Union leader. So the act of including others in more critical situations when the option was there to not include them was another form of love exhibited in Kingdom Hearts Union Cross. Kingdom Hearts is very much a series that really highlights the values of love and friendship, and the way in which Kingdom Hearts has exhibited love as one of its core themes has not been in a one-dimensional manner, but rather a very nuanced view through multiple aspects, whether it's compassion, acceptance, sacrifice, or even grief. But I want to hear from you, so let me know what you think about how love manifests in Kingdom Hearts in the comments below. If you want to explore some more Kingdom Hearts theories, I'll be linking another Kingdom Hearts theory video here in the end screen. And as always, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel if you enjoyed this video and want to watch more Kingdom Hearts content. And if there's anyone who may have questions about what to expect for the upcoming Kingdom Hearts games, be sure to share this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.